Hello guys, good morning to everyone. I'm Thales. You're watching my channel dedicated to English language. Well, we cover from basic to advanced, and this is an intermediate advanced video. Why? Because it's entirely in English. But I also have another playlist named Basic, which is aimed at beginners. So if you are a beginner, you had better head to that playlist, right? Which explanations are in Portuguese, right? Well, before we begin, subscribe to the channel, share the content with your friends. There is a lot of content available, more than 400 videos already uploaded in two different playlists, basic and intermediate advanced. Hit the notification bell as I upload videos on a regular basis, and give a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Today we will begin to studying relative clauses, okay? So without further ado, let's get into it. Today I was very fast about it. Well, let me see if this is my notebook, which I use to write the examples. Well, let's understand first the difference between sentences and clauses. Clauses are part of sentences, okay? For example, a doctor is someone who works at hospitals. For example, okay? A doctor is someone who works at hospitals. Here we have two different clauses. A doctor is someone, and we have works at hospitals, or who works at hospitals. Relative clauses, they join two different sentences, right? And here, who works at hospitals is referring to doctors, right? So clauses, this is a clause, right? A relative clause is a clause which is related to a noun. For example, to a noun, it can be related to an object, to an event. Who is a relative clause related to people, okay? But we have many different relative clauses. So summarizing, who is used when we talk about people, when we are referring to people. Not things, right? When we talk about things, we use a different clause, which. And we have that. That is another clause that can be used in both situations. So throughout the video and perhaps the next videos, we will be talking about relative clauses. Relative clauses. So this is the first video about it, okay? The boy who lives next door is intelligent. For example, so I know a boy who lives next door. Someone who lives next door is a neighbor, right? So the boy who lives next door, I'm talking about any boy? No, I'm specifying here who is the person I'm talking about. So the relative clause can be used when we want to give details about the noun we are talking about. So the boy who lives next door, it's not any boy. And the who, we use who because we are talking about a person, okay? There are many different ways. I can use a relative clause in the middle of the sentence. So there is a clause here in the middle of the whole sentence. Or I can use the relative clause in the end of the sentence, depending on the example. I know people who don't eat meat. Do you know people who don't eat meat? I eat meat, so I'm not a vegetarian, right? I love eating meat. I know people who don't eat meat. The clause here is specifying what kind of people I'm talking about. In the first sentence, I can't write who lives next door. The boy who is intelligent lives next door. Yes, it's possible to write it this way, but I can't say the boy is intelligent who lives next door. No, it's wrong. So you have to make some adjustments to the sentence if you want to change the parts of the sentence. If you want to change the clauses, the position of the clauses, I can say the boy who is intelligent lives next door. I guess it's not necessarily, I guess this kind of sentence, I'm not sure whether it's common to put comma. In Portuguese, we use comma, right? The boy who is intelligent lives next door. Here, it gives the idea that whoever lives next to me is intelligent and he is a boy. No, it's not true. So you have to be careful about the meaning of the sentences you want to, the meaning you want to deliver, and how you build these sentences. Do you know the person who called you? Okay, so somebody calls me, right? The phone rings, I answer the phone, and this person, I have never heard of this person before. And my mom, for example, comes to me and say, do you know this person who called you? Because you were talking to him, and probably you know this person, or maybe you don't know this person. Yes, I'm more likely to talk to people who I already know, right? I have no reason to engage in conversations with strangers. Anyone who wants free meals must come here on weekends. Imagine a situation in which I have a restaurant, and during the weekends I open the restaurant and offer free meals. Not to every single person, but I offer free meals. If you arrive first, the first people to arrive will receive free meals, right? It's a promotion. It's something that, a marketing experience that I'm having in my restaurant, for example. So anyone who wants free meals. So if you don't want a free meal, don't come to my restaurant. Right? I'm restricting the audience. It's not anyone which fills in specific requirements, right? You can use that for people, right? I can say the man who lives next door is nuts, right? I know a man, my neighbor is nuts, is crazy. The boy who lives next door is nuts. This is informal language, of course, right? So you can say the man who lives next door, or you can use that, right? You can use either who or that. In the examples I gave before, you can replace who with that as well. But remember, you can't use who when referring to things. If you want to talk about things, you can use which or that. What conclusion we have here? We can conclude that the relative clauses that have that can be used both for people and objects. Okay, but if you want to talk specifically about people, you can't use which, and if you are talking about objects, you are unable to use who. So let's see some examples. Where is the book which was on the table? The book is on the table is a classic, right? So where is a book which was on the table? If I say, let's understand why we use relative clauses. If you say, where is the book? What book I'm talking about? I don't know, right? Where is the book? I have many books. But if I say, I was reading a book last night, and before going to bed, I put the book on the table and went to bed. As I woke up, right, I wanted to continue reading, to resume reading the book I was reading before, and I couldn't find my book, so somebody took it and put it somewhere else. So I say, where is the book which was on the table? So the person who is listening to this question knows, or at least is supposed to know, that I want to know where the whereabouts of this specific book which was on the table. So it's not any book. I don't like movies which are about romantic couples, for example. Or I don't like romantic movies, right? I don't like movies which are about romantic couples. I don't like. I prefer comedy. I prefer horror movies. Actually, it's my top tier of the list, right? So I don't like movies. If I say I don't like movies, this person doesn't like movies at all. It's not true. I like movies, but I don't like movies which are about romantic couples. Or I don't like movies which are violent, which are very violent, which have graphical violence. So I'm specifying what kind of movies, what kind of things I'm using. In spoken language and in general, it's more common to use that for objects rather than who. But you must know that it's possible. In written language, it's very common to find which, okay? We haven't finished yet. We have many things to talk about. And we will, next video, we will remind you of more examples and study more about relative clauses, okay? So have a nice day.